Hi folks, how you going? I just couldn't help but notice a press release from the NZEI demanding a student teacher in every classroom to be a teaching assistant, and I couldn't help but notice that Mastery, a charter school in Christchurch, have achieved exactly that in collaboration with the University of Canterbury Education School. It's a very good example of how charter school innovation is doing what the unions want, if only they could see it.
The military-style bootcamp is starting again next week. What's the significance of that? How much of a difference will that make? And are you excited to see that sort of roll out for another time?
Yeah, I am, because they've been able to learn things from the previous iteration, and actually all of the kids that are going to be in this one have volunteered to be in it, so they see it as a second chance and they want to benefit from it. Certainly when I visited in the first time, the level of support, the psychologists, the structure that these kids are getting is a really positive thing, and so I'm very hopeful for these children, because while they may be offenders and they have done bad things, the best hope for all of us is that they get back on the right track.
What if they learn what's different?
Beg your pardon?
What if they learn what's different?
Well, again, I'm not directly involved in it, but I do know that this one has followed on from the previous one. If you want to know specifically how it's working, the best person to ask is Karen Chua, who's the minister responsible. So.
Isn't it the point of a pilot to only have one, and then you go into the actual?
Well, I've never seen a law that says that there's a restricted number of pilots.
So
most planes have two.
It's surprising that the ACT Party would support multiple pilots of something that involve taxpayer money.
Well, not necessarily. If you're getting better, then you could save a lot of taxpayer money in the long term.
So have you been disappointed by the fact that the ledge hasn't been able to get through, therefore introducing the established?
Well, the issue with having such a busy government is that you're doing all this extra time in the House to get through all the legislation. There's a big mess to clean up, and we're fixing what matters every day. But that means you can't pass everything when you'd like to.
Just on energy in terms of Iran, both Simon Watts and Christopher Luxon this morning seemed incredibly relaxed about any impact it might have in terms of LNG and international prices and what sort of impact that might have on New Zealand. Are you equally relaxed about the impacts on New Zealand of energy prices?
Well, I don't want to comment on how relaxed they are or aren't, but I'm watching the oil price closely because I know it can have a major effect on New Zealand households. It's up around 10%. It seems to have stabilised after rising in the last couple of days. It's now stabilised, and we hope that it stays there and you don't get an escalation that leads to even higher oil prices, because that will hurt people.
Minister, 20 years ago this month, the KiwiSaver bill was introduced. One of the key design features of KiwiSaver was allowing you to withdraw the entire amount for your first home. Looking back and knowing what we do now about how house prices have reacted since, was that a mistake?
Well, I don't know that house prices are high because of first home buyers withdrawing their KiwiSaver. If anything, that's allowed a lot of people to become first home buyers. I think there's other reasons why home prices have inflated a lot over the last 20 years, but I wouldn't blame the thing that's allowed a lot of younger people to access the housing market.
So that wasn't a mistake to do that in the first place. Obviously you can't unwind it now, but going back you would
it's an interesting topic, but I would have thought that allowing a lot of young people to get on the housing ladder has been a very good thing.
Sorry, this is not a very important question.
You always preface them like that.
What's the cat pin about?
It's actually for World Hearing Day. It's for a lot of people who struggle or are hard of hearing, and I was asked to wear it in support of that, and I'm very proud to do so.
Just on Iran more widely, how do you feel about the government's statement on the matter, and do you wish we went further in supporting the strikes?
No, I think the government statement is pitch perfect. We recognise that this is a difficult situation for everybody, but without knowing as much as some other countries involved do, for us to be more certain is not actually possible. I mean, we could just say it, but we've stuck to what we actually know and taken a line that's in principle with our independent foreign policy.
How are the communications with Winston Peters going? Obviously he's overseas. Is it quite difficult to keep those lines of communication between the government and the foreign minister?
Not really. I mean, he's getting advice from MFAT. His office is sharing advice with us so that we understand what his positioning is as foreign minister, and everybody's singing off the same page. So I think we're in a good place.
Is it fair to say that no social media ban will ever make it through a cabinet you're part of?
Let's just see what the proposal is. I mean, my suggestion is watch what's happening in Australia. As it happens, our neighbours are doing a massive experiment, and it's starting to become clear how that's working, but it's not quite clear enough for me yet.
The proposals on the table right now, though, as they are, the proposals on the table right now, would you reject those proposals?
Not the simplistic ban that was offered up. You need something that actually involves parents and takes people along with them. One of the many things I'm worried about is that a straight ban drives activity underground. People won't talk to their parents about what they're doing online because they think it's naughty. That's the opposite of what we need.
Are you worried about a slippery slope there with government authentication of people's age to use the internet?
Well, that's one of the things you've got to look at in Australia. There's been a lot of fear that it's effectively going to require people over 16 to show their government ID to an internet company to prove that they're not under 16. However, that doesn't seem to have been as big a problem in Australia as we first were worried it might be. So that's my thing. Let's just keep watching what happens in Australia.
Are you getting pressure from parents in your electorate to support some form of restriction on social media?
From some, yeah. There are people, I mean, this is one of the biggest things that parents are worried about. My job is to listen to people, and there are people who say, yeah, just support a ban, but also to listen to other perspectives that this might not do what you think and could even make it worse in some ways.
Were you supportive of the move-on orders that were announced?
Oh, it's government policy, absolutely. And I just say, look, I stand with people who may have put their life savings into operating a fashion boutique on Parnell Road. They don't deserve to have their business ruined or be intimidated when they're closing up their store at 5:30 in the dark in winter.
So you're not bothered that both Paul Goldsmith and Chris Bishop received advice saying that the move-on orders weren't the world's best idea?
Well, you know, if we were just going to go by bureaucratic advice, we wouldn't need to have elections in a government, and I'm sure you guys would hate that. So.
What about the business associations, though, and who was actually listened to? Because my understanding is that some of the Auckland business associations are actually going to oppose the legislation. So were you one of the ministers feeding in saying, you know, Auckland businesses have been saying this is a good idea?
I mean, I represent organisations like the Parnell Business Association, the Newmarket Business Association, the Remuera Business Association, and those guys are pretty keen last I checked.
So you're comfortable that a wide group of businesses were canvassed and supportive, and it wasn't just sort of a handful of people that have been listened to above all else?
Well, certainly the business associations that I talk to almost weekly, particularly Newmarket and Parnell, the bigger ones in the Epsom electorate, they are really well connected with their members in those districts, so I would trust them, yeah.
What are your concerns in regards to what Labor has said about the Reserve Bank's dual mandate?
Well, I mean, look, you know, Barbara Edmonds is really, I guess it used to be the cookery book, but she's into book cookery. You actually risk an inflation takeoff. The war on landlords resumes, rents go up. They put affordability at the centre of everything except their own policies, which they don't know how they're going to afford. So it's pretty clear if you want inflation and interest rates to take off again, vote Labor.
Did you come up with the book? Did you come up with the book cookery?
I can confirm, and I'm even happy to show you privately screenshots of the chat where I came up with it. Thank you.